one. Alrighty, yo. This is Beyond Normal Days. And today I'm remotely / virtually sitting down with DJ Lostcat. Welcome, brother. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm great. Just chilling out here.
That's good, man. Thank you for being on the show. This is gonna be a good one. I know a couple people I tweeted yesterday, the other time we talked, whatever. On my DJ Lostcat episode for Beyond Normal Days, and Santiago Salazar and other people liked it. So I know people are waiting for this. So let's get into it.
This one has video too, you guys. I'm in a computer. I have a green screen.
I know. So that's the thing as well too. So now people can see what our reactions are and everything. I need to do more video interviews. I've only done like those 2 video ones that are like actually like professionally recorded and everything. But when this whole like pandemic started, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can start recording Zoom calls or something.
Yeah. Just a way to like get close to the people.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of shows a little bit more, like I said, give the people something to watch. Because I think that's what, every time I listen to a podcast, I have it on YouTube, and I'm watching them as well too. So it's not really, I guess it's listening and watching, but more watching.
Yeah,
every episode of the podcast, I do want to just let you, introduce yourself. Not introduce yourself, but let the listeners know where you're from. So let's get with that.
Shit, I was like grinding this weed up. Well, shit, I'm from Los Angeles, bro. South Central, born and raised. Moved out here to fucking New York, like, shit, this is going on 8 years now.
Oh, shit, okay.
Feeling good.
And, what was your, maybe musical upbringing while growing up in Los Angeles? And then we'll kind of, because not musical upbringing, but yeah, your musical upbringing in LA, South Central, how was that?
Ah, man, a lot of different palettes in my crib, like my mom, she was a street racer when she was younger, so she was more into, like, current, like, hip-hop at the time, and, like, R&B and shit, like, that was more her bag. My grandfather, when he was alive, he was a weird guy. He was into more, like, funk, soul, and jazz, but, like, when he got older and I started, like, taking care of him before he passed, I realized how weird of a dude he was. He had, like, ambient and, like, weird, just, like, acid jazz shit he would never show the family. It was just, like, a hidden crate of just, like, really dope shit, and I would sample it all the time. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's why you said crate, because it was vinyl. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he had that. But, like, my upbringing, honestly, like, they were into that stuff. I had friends at school that were more into, like, punk and, like, skateboarding and shit, and, like, I'd hang out with them, and that was more my thing, but, like, I kind of use it as a counteract at home sometimes to, like, piss everybody off. Just like oh, you don't like it, so I'll fucking like it. Yeah! Like, you know what I mean?
But it's funny how you said that. I was talking, when I did the Slave Squad interview, Kilo Key, he said that for the most part he would always kind of listen to the opposite of what, like, was maybe accepted, just to kind of, like, feel a little, like, rebellion or something like that. So that goes hand in hand with what you were saying right now, so.
I don't think it's rebellious, more or less, as it is, like, opening your fucking palate. Because, like, if you go to a record store, dog, the hip-hop section's right next to the goth aisle. Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's true, though. That is true. It's kind of, not being rebellious, but just being open to more music. And that's the thing. And, like, in the long run, that helps anybody out as well, too. Because, how you said, you started sampling those ambient, records, those acid jazz records. In a sense, that's maybe some, like, hidden gems that, will develop into your music production and make your music production stand out more than anything.
It definitely changed my, like, tonals and, like, my taste and enjoyment for stuff, because, like, growing up, I didn't really have, like, an into, like, electronic music or anything, although I was using the internet back in 96 and, like, SoulSeek and stuff, like, way back, you guys, like, WinMX days. I would find stuff by, like, late night TV, because, like, how they had, like, city television, and they would show, like, raves and shit, and, like, you weren't supposed to be watching it, you're supposed to be asleep. I would see shit like that, or, like, weird infomercials that just had, like, really interesting, like, chords and sounds, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that. Like...
No, you said, like, you said you didn't have, like, an ins to, like, electronic music, but, do you remember the time that you discovered specifically, like, electronic music, or it captured your your attention, yeah, I guess in a sense, like it made you like, wait, like, well, I want to kind of because you said you got introduced to like acid jazz and like ambient stuff, and in a sense, ambient can maybe be electronic, but like, when was like really that moment that really like captured it, made me want to dig into it more seriously in a sense?
Well, I was always into like video game music and stuff, and like shit they would do there. But also like I would visit a lot of like message boards back in the day. I don't know if people remember like the Controller 7 forums. Uh, I used to dig for a lot of like weirder like trip hop and like breaks and electronic music, jungle. I would just get open, man. I don't know. I was just like always like looking at shit, reading shit, like seeing what's up, and I was like willfully obscure. I wasn't really like going for shit in like the vein other people are going for. Like even now, if I hear like people playing records out in a club, like you'll hear like what, for instance, like the Carl Craig remix of like Domina all the time at like New York clubs. I love Marisa, but like I'll stay the fuck away from that record because it's like, yo, we already heard that shit from like 7 other people. You know what I mean?
Do you have any This is like maybe like not a part of question and not in order, but do you have any recordings of your mixes? Like, have you done as well too?
What do you mean?
Like for example, wait, do you have a SoundCloud?
I deleted that shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just for example, like like a mix, like how people record mixes and they post them up and everything. Do you have any like of those available online?
Oh yeah. There's a couple of things out there. Shit, I've been putting mixes out since like what were we saying before, like the Justin TV Ustream days when like going live
Oh
was
yeah, you
like.
did say that. Just yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, the last one I did was with Santiago Salazar, I believe, for Dublab.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, you and Roscoe did that. You're correct. Yeah, you're right about that. My bad.
I've
I listened
gotten.
to it when it came out. So
Nah, man. There's just so much shit going on. Like, it's hard to keep up sometimes. Like, I get asked to do shit, and like people are like, "Yo, do this, do that," but like they'll never get back to me. And sometimes they're like, "Oh, damn, I got to do this," or like, "I got to do that," and I'll fucking forget. Or like the homie will be like, "Oh, you're supposed to do NTS today, but they fumbled, so actually you don't have to do it today. Like, it's all good."
oh, damn, Lostcat on MTS. That's fucking sick. You should. Man, hopefully that maybe that opportunity comes back and you should be able to do that. That's some real like dope stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna do one with them and just like kind of play an hour of just like my music, nobody else's really.
That's clean. I know your homie Ashtray Jenkins. He has a show on MTS, correct? For Double Up.
Yeah. It's on No, it's not on NTS. I did a show with him about a year and some change ago, and we were gonna do like a re-check-in because like I've been releasing stuff, been doing shit, and he wanted to like catch back up. I mean, we talk every day,
Yeah.
but like it's not often that like the people get to hear more than like 15 seconds of me like saying shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you. And going kind of backtracking to your I guess growing up in Los Angeles. Were you going out? Or when did you discover I guess if you want to call it the party culture, going to raves and whatnot?
I was 13 or 14 years old. I want to say like 2004, dog. I was out with my friends one night doing graffiti, and I put my hand to the wall, and we were just like catching throws, whatever, getting fill-ins, and I felt vibration behind the wall, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what's going on in here? You know what I mean? And I told my homie, and I was like, yo, put your ear to the wall. Like, what? Do you sense what the fuck I'm sensing right now? Like, what the fuck is going on in here? Like, okay. So we finish our shit, and we go over and fucking, like, peek and hop the fence. Dog, it's like a whole after hours party going on back there. And we were really young at the time. We were like punk ass kids and shit. And they were cool. They saw we were down. We had like shit all over our hands or whatever. They're like, oh, okay, you're cool. Then we're cool. But like, a lot of the OGs weren't really jacking us, like doing drugs or like fucking around anybody. They're like, oh, if you're gonna be here, like, be here for the fucking music. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all that other extracurricular shit. So we just kept it at that. But like,
Extracurricular.
yeah, but like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. As I got older, like I started to realize, like a lot of the other shit is extracurricular, bro. It just takes away from music.
That's true. Ooh, I like that. Is true. That is true. I know that's the thing. A lot of people do lose the focus on the music just because of the extracurricular stuff that I guess is involved in the bigger or the whole atmosphere, whole surroundings that comes with it, and people get lost. Eh,
Yeah, but I mean, it's really up to you, dog. Like what you do with it. And my thing was always just like the people I fucked with, the people I like. I don't want to say look up because you get pissed down on, but like just the people I fucked with, I guess. Like the people I could see myself around. They always carried that like mindset and that ethos with them everywhere.
and do you remember some of the artists that were playing around that time when you started like indulging yourself in the those warehouse parties and underground culture in a sense?
At the time, dog, I wasn't really paying attention to names. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like mad young, just like experiencing the time. But like I do remember like droid parties, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, them shits were crazy.
Yeah.
I saw like Claude Young when I was like really really early. Um, just a lot of random like cool stuff, man. But a lot of those things, like mind you, I was like sneaking into. I was a teenager, bro, so I really had no fucking insight. If we walked by it and we heard it was dope, because like I'm not gonna lie, there was times like we would be out catching shit and you hear what's going on in the spot and you're just like, I ain't fucking with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, like weird dubstep nights and shit.
Okay.
American
Okay,
dubstep.
Probably. Oh, okay. So you said American dubstep, but did you ever like maybe go to any like jungle parties at that time? I remember somebody was telling me that like in LA the jungle scene was pretty like prominent and pretty I guess popping.
Uh,
Call it.
I would go to a couple like under the bridge type shits, but I do remember when I got my first fake ID, I went to Smog.
Were you into what?
There used to be this like jungle-ish party called Smog. When I got my first fake ID, I went there just like with some homies, like on some random shit.
Okay.
That was cool. I don't really like, dog. I'm not gonna lie. I've done a lot of drugs in my day. Like I don't remember too much about my like what I was seeing or experiencing my younger parties. I remember like what I was digging and like what I was finding and what I enjoyed. But in terms of like going out, I was dragged to a lot of fucking places, dog. Like, or it was just shit I found by happenstance.
And when you said digging, were you going to like record shops to go look for vinyl and all that good stuff?
Half half, because when I was a lot younger, I didn't have a record player yet, so I'd buy a lot of CDs and like tapes and shit. But like I was saying before, I've been using the internet for a very long fucking time. I don't care how anyone feels about what the fuck I'm about to
Digital
say.
digging.
I really don't care what I mean, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what the fuck people think about what I'm about to say. But like, a lot of my like music history and knowledge was found through piracy and like not having things and being put onto things or finding it and just being like, whoa, what's this?
I know I know how you said that disclaimer like I don't give a fuck and what people think about like when you said piracy. I had a class when I was going to college and this teacher was talking like in a positive light about piracy, how it's almost like taking control and uh, its own individual freedom in some sense of like artistic stuff. And she says that she every time she goes to like a different country or a different state, whatever, and she sees like something that's like a bootleg version of something, she buys it because she's like, this is awesome, this is tight, like this is like taking your own like, I guess people, it's a debate. People are like, oh well, why are you ripping music, this and that, or this and that, whatever. But I do see the the positive side of like piracy. So.
Yeah, I love the appeal, man, because you see how other people get it in like other sides of the world. But my thing is like, I would never wear like bootleg shit in a sense, like just for the sake of being bootleg. But God, when you find like bootleg tech or like bootleg media, that shit is dope. It's just like, whoa, like this isn't supposed to exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And I was gonna say so even and this is gonna go maybe just backtracking to that, but when or maybe it all will coincide. Do you remember the time where you discovered, or maybe in this case you already knew the history and the roots of house and techno and how it's black music.
That information I definitely found out through OGs and being at the record store. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, there was like sourced information that was on the internet back then, but I wasn't really like checking for that shit. I was just seeing like, oh, what was dope, you know? I was too young. But as I got older, the more OGs and shit I would kick it with, the more and more you find out about like the history and the roots. Like a lot of people don't know, my OG Rick Wade, he put me on to the original reason why there's capacity in electronic music clubs back in the day in Detroit. And it was a black population rule, you guys, and that's why warehouse techno is what it is, because it was more of a like, oh, it's a ghetto party, bring your auntie, bring your sister, bring your cousin. It's not no hats, no hoods in here, the whole hood is welcome.
When you say capacity, you mean like the limit of capacity, or like?
Yeah. Like say the club is like max capacity 50. Like this is just hypothetical. The black capacity would be like 10 or 15 because they don't want you to get like overruled and overpowered while they're playing like strong, loud black music in the club and it's mad black folk around there. You know, you'll rile up, you'll fuck shit up. So they make a different capacity, and that's why the OGs back in the day in Detroit would do warehouse parties, because it was like, fuck that capacity shit, like everybody's welcome here. So I would find out a lot of knowledge like this as I got older. Not necessarily always in the record store, but just like being around or like talking to people or emailing people, talking on chat. You know, like I would catch up and be like, oh, so what's this? Or you have more insight on this. You were alive. Like, you know what I mean? I was born in 1990. Like, these motherfuckers already had careers by then, or like playing chords and shit. So, you know, it was cool to get that like insight from people.
Yeah, because you said OGs and everything. Talk about, you know, and rest in peace, Mike Huckabee. I know he's your mentor. How did that connection come about?
Oh man, I used to party a lot at this spot in New York called Space is the Place, and this dude Donnie would like link me up with Mike because he knew I was like an avid fan of his, and like he would always like kind of see my music in like the similar vein, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're trying to do that shit. Like, why don't you fucking hang out with this guy? And I remember one time there was a party. It was Fred P, Mike Huckabee, and Deep Chord, which are like 3 artists I really, really, really fucking like enjoy. Like, I enjoy their work. Like, just by far. Like, those are like probably 3 of my favorite musicians. Well, they're not really musicians because they don't have anything in common with musicians, and I think that's why I like them so much. But they're good at what they do.
Yeah, and then I saw this. Wait, is it Vice? No, I'm not sure what it was, but it was a documentary how Mike Huckabee, how he had like a class or like in Detroit or like a like.
Yeah, dude. He taught mad kids like synthesis and Ableton and Reactor, and like I was saying, like those things were always up my alley. Like he's like a computer music guy. He has like 1 synth and like SP1200 and some like other little shit, but he's like a computer music dude. And Donnie would always be like, man, you guys gotta link the fuck up. Like, you guys gotta hang out, you know what I mean? And he would put me around the guy, we would hang out, we'd walk around New York, go get tacos, fucking look at girls, you know, like, just random shit. And he would just talk to me and just, like, give me, like, the randomest fucking, like, tips about, like, oh, sample and hold, or this is how you do this is how you do that. We only hung out, like, shit, over the course of, like, 2-3 years, maybe, like, 5 or 6 times, because he's always so in and out. But, like, we would always text, we would always keep up, we would always be back and forth video chatting and shit. And he always, like, he kept an eye out, well, an ear out, rather, for, like, my sound and, like, tried to help me develop that shit. He always had, like, an open...
Passed away, he posted, like, you know, rest in peace, you know, to my mentor, and I was like, oh, wow, you know, and then I started kind of like digging more, like, how, because everybody was, you know, really talking about how much he really, helping a lot of like, you know, musicians or just artists in general. And I saw that documentary, I was like, wow, you see, this is like one of the realest people that are there, you know, like they're showing the young generation, you know, how to really like, you know, develop into the music stuff, and also give them like a gateway or like a little, not a gateway, but yeah, like a safe haven to, you know, maybe not go do other stuff that might maybe not give them any positivity, I guess, if you want to say that, you know, like maybe any like.
I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like the Miles Davis theory kind of hit him too though, because a lot of people in like my peer range, sure, like older cats knew who he was, But I would bring his name up all the fucking time, like all the fucking time, just like, yo, you guys check out this technique, check out this. I learned this by this dude, da 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 da. And it felt like I was speaking Chinese, like nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about until he passed. So I'm still kind of weird on that. I'm still a little weird on that because I see it often. All these like tributes and like all these things. It's like, where were you when the dude was alive? And like deeptransportation.com was trying to like stay afloat.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's true. That's true. And that's one thing because I knew who he was as like as a, you know, his music and everything, but I didn't know how much he was actually doing, you know, stuff for, you know, just as a teacher, you know. So I see what you're saying on that part, you know, because
that dude bent over backwards, man. Like bent over backwards, and it felt like he never really got the recognition he deserved outside of like other circles. I'm serious. Like I would bring the shit up to so many people, and they'd just be like, "Who's that? Like, what's that?" And then after he died, I got people coming to me talking about some, yo, remember the wave? And I'm just like, dog.
She's like, hey, man, Justin, you know who Mike Huckabee is? And he's looking, I'm like, really?
Dog, no, that shit really does happen, and it kind of weirds me out a little bit because it makes me feel like, oh, have you motherfuckers just been like ignoring my shit? Like you've been ignoring his shit? Like if I pass, like is this gonna be the same treatment?
Oh man, no, I feel you on that. No, but no, hell no, man. Everybody, I think a lot of people, especially like, you know, real like dope artists, know your shit. Like for example, something like Salazar, Dex, the people from the Black Lodge, Annika Wolf, all the homies, they know your shit, and I think little by little, I think you're getting more traction. You know, I feel like that's where this is gonna be kind of cool. So hopefully we can like, I know you probably don't really want to like, I guess make it like. Well, no, I'm saying who wouldn't want to blow up or anything, but I know you deserve way more than your current status is as well too. You know, so
Yeah, motherfucker, blowing up. I got my people. It's just like, will they pay attention? Because, like I was saying before, the thing about music is, it's not necessarily about your talent. It's making people give a fuck. But we've seen so many artists within this like past decade fall victim to the same like Miles Davis syndrome, Jay Dilla syndrome, Nipsey Hussle syndrome. They don't give a fuck till you're like gone, dude.
Until you're dead, yeah. That's why somebody one time, like I guess, said in a sense, like, you know, these people deserve their roses, their flowers while they're still here, you know.
Because there was even this many pictures of dude on the internet before this dude died.
Wow, that's intense. That's intense. I remember, yeah, I remember when because I'm telling you, I just knew who he was, have a couple of his tracks and everything, but I really wasn't fully in tune of how much he was actually doing there. And then a couple of people would post up like, oh, this guy was doing this, he was doing that, and that's what made me check out that little. It was like a short little documentary. And I was like, okay, damn, all right.
Oh yeah. I saw little parts of that shit. He's just like, oh, you gotta hold the camera on the whole time. Just watch this. Yeah, I seen that shit.
Yeah. And what came first in your end? Mixing records, you know, DJing or producing?
Man, I'll always be a listener first for the simple fact that like before I learned how to do anything, before I was doing anything, I was like in my mom's car, just like bumping whatever the fuck she was listening to, you know. So like,
yeah.
the record came after that, you know, like going to record stores and learning how to like beat match and all that shit, and then I guess producing came after that. But I'm not gonna lie, sure my name is like DJ Lostcat and shit. I spend 97 of my time producing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I DJ and shit, that's cool. But like, I see DJing as more of like a looping performance thing. Whereas like actually producing is like, oh, I'm like actually putting my all into this shit. Because if I'm DJing, dog, I'm not gonna feel so bad if it's like somebody else's track and the crowd doesn't like respond or react to it. Whereas like if I'm pressing my finger on those motherfucking pads and nobody's dancing, bro, I'm gonna have a fit. You know what I mean? Like that one's gonna hurt.
And when you started producing, were you using Ableton Live from day one?
No. I originally used to like go to my friends' houses that use like Cubase and like all that weird shit. Like I was saying before too, like I always knew how to like get things off the internet. So I was always really early with stuff. I would see things and be like, oh, what's this? Try that. Do that. You know what I mean? I would play around with like really early versions of FL Studio and like Cakewalk back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then as time had like gone on, I'll say like version 6. I started using Ableton and like fucking around with it, but all my friends were better than me. My cousin Ashtray Jenkins, like he was like a beast at fucking Ableton, even though he's like a FL guy. He was just like super beast at Ableton. His whole friend circle was, and I would sit around these niggas all the time because like it was like a technique. Well, not a technique, but like just an understanding I learned from Mike Huckabee later. Like, if you don't like things, you should still like look at them and like pay attention to the technique and like adapt it into your style. You know what I mean? So they were doing the more like LA beat scene, like low end theory thing. That wasn't really my bag.
Yeah.
But like I would still pay attention to it and like how they played with their bass frequencies and like, you know what I mean? Shit they were doing, and I would try to like apply that to my style. And that was like some of my like earliest development. I later got into like using a lot of like, well really I had like a you know how they have like gear acquisition syndrome, gas? Like dudes that just buy like mad gear for no fucking reason just to have it.
Oh my god, I was like, wait, what does that mean? But now I get what you're saying, I guess, yeah.
I had VST acquisition syndrome for a long ass time. And like, I would just like go through everything and be like, oh, I like that sound, I like this, I like this character, I like what this does. Until eventually I'd like settled on a couple things. So I stayed within the like parameters of Ableton and like got comfy. And then I started doing renoise. But I would like rewire it in with Ableton. And renoise, a lot of people don't know, like the timing is hexadecimal. It's not like regular like timing. So you could add a little bit more, and that's why like drum and bass and like IDM guys love it so much. And ever since I've like kind of wrapped that around my style, dog, like my whole shit kind of changed.
And is Renoise like a DAW, or is it like a VST that you can use?
Oh no! It's a DAW.
A couple people have seen it. Okay. Oh, okay. I've seen Subversive. You and probably maybe somebody else. I'm not sure if it's drum stuff, but I've only seen a few people use that. I remember, I think you were the first one that used it, or that I saw was using it. And then like maybe a couple weeks later or something, I saw Subversive post up on his story, and he was using it. So I'm like, oh, see, these guys are using some shit that some next level shit, looking like the Matrix and all that stuff.
My boy Matt Loberg was the one that like brought it to my attention, but I remember I used to see videos of this dude fucking DJ Caro back in the day fucking with it. Like running it through modular shit. And I used to just be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, is that an Amiga? Like, how the fuck are you running that like emulated through a computer? And then one day someone was like, dog, that's Renoise. Like, that's like a fucking program. That's not an emulation. And I was like, yo, run that. And it kind of changed my spectrum, dog, because remember, I started listening to electronic music in like the early 2000s, like 2002. I was into a lot of like that weirder like breaky IDM and like shit that was going on at that time. So this program finally allowed me to like tap into that, because with Ableton the timing is just so gritty. Like you can't really get that feel like that.
And you're gonna have to one day, like, you know, through like OBS, or not OBS, but yeah, through Discord here, show me like just a little music production session how it is for you, because I want you to explain to the listeners and the watchers what's a typical music production session with you, because I know you did previously have told me that you produce on Ableton and then mix and master on something else, correct? So like let the listeners.
Oh yeah. All my like pre-production shit is like Renoise Ableton rewire. And then when I'm done with everything and I'm finally like content with the way it is, I'll bring it into Pro Tools and I'll just like mix and master everything like that on some old head shit, because I have this like old DigiDesign mixer from 2000, but it's kind of like Ableton push for Pro Tools. One of my homies gave it to me, but my OG Kimyon was originally just like big-eyed when I got it. He was just like, bro, I've had one of these pretty much my whole career. Come over. I'll show you how to use it. I'll show you what it does. Show you everything about it, and I've just been like flying through it ever since. Like, it really takes like no effort for me on this thing, dog. Like, I really have my shit down packed now, but I remember when I was a kid and I would like read liner notes for like electronic music albums, they would be like, oh, used a DX9, used Cubase, used fucking, used FL, used Sonar, used whatever. And I would be like, why are you guys using so many fucking programs? Like, what's the point? Like, if you can do everything in the box in one thing, like, why the fuck? But as I started to like play around with these two, even though like Renoise is just like totally fucking different, I started to realize slowly that like, oh, this is why people use like multiple things at once, because you get like different characters of shit. And maybe you're not comfortable in one thing, you could like kind of marry it to.
And what's your preference? Like the way you said, it's just Ableton, Renoise, and those are like, and then some VSTs, of course, right?
Okay, so Ableton for arrangement, Renoise for like producing and cracking out all the sounds, because like I swear to God, their sound design editor is like, it's non-destructive, kind of like Edison is in FL Studio. It's like Photoshop, dog. Like literally, like I can draw waves.
Wait, what?
I can draw waves, bro.
Like with like the mouse or something like.
I can fucking bring in a sample of like whatever I want, click the pen tool, and fucking like shift parts of like the waveform however the hell I want. Like I could draw a fucking smiley face.
What the fuck? Hey, wait, what does a smiley face sound like? Damn, that's clean. That's looking clean.
Yeah, it's really interesting, bro. Man, it really changed the way I did shit. I swear to God.
And how long have you been using Renoise? No wait. Yeah, wait, no, you said it's Renoise and Renoise, yeah.
I've been using Ableton since version 6. Renoise I've been using since 2.8. So 2015?
Oh, fuck. Damn, it's a good while already. Good time.
Yeah, the program doesn't really get developed a lot. Like, it's made by a couple people, but it's really only one guy, like, kind of, like, backing it, doing all the dev work, and he's, like, kind of responsible for some other, like, PS4 game that's going on right now, and he really can't be bothered with Renoise. He's like, oh, it's kind of perfect, like, he has other shit to do, but eventually he'll come back in and, like, add small things, like, there was another update last week for, like, VST3 support. So thank God, like I can finally like not have to use those things on the Ableton side. And another cool thing about Renoise, like people don't realize, when I'm running this shit like this, things like this in Ableton would probably like just fuck a computer up to no end. When you're running in Renoise, it takes like 0.3% of your CPU, dog. There's no like visual.
Yeah, so that's clean. That's yeah, like you said, it's a DAW. You can use your VSTs, do the production side, then you use Ableton for arrangement, and then you mix and master or master on Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that.
And Renoise also allows for like a sandbox VST editing, unlike Ableton. So if something breaks in the sandbox of your VST, it won't break the fucking program and stop your song. So that's kind of helped me a lot, because everyone knows like Ableton is buggy as all hell.
And I want to get into your connection, because you said you're from Los Angeles, moved to New York. Everybody like who's listening to this, so not everybody, but all the mutual homies know a similar situation with somebody from Los Angeles area, moved to New York. The homie Roscoe. How did that connection come about?
That's all your guys' fault, honestly. You, Annika, fucking Queso, fucking...
Yeah.
Nigga, everybody, nigga, like... I don't know, motherfuckers would hit me up. I guess because, like, I would try to hit Roscoe up, like, maybe... It's like 2 years back, I want to say, because I knew, like, he was around in circles, and it's only, like, what, like, 8 of us motherfuckers out here really, like, doing shit that are, like, black in, like, the production realm. Like, really doing shit, so everybody would always be like, yo, hit this fool up. Like, he's cool. He's cool. And then you guys all of a sudden would like bombard me and be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, Roscoe's out there. You guys haven't kicked it? You know Roscoe? Da 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 da. And I'd be like, nah, dude. Like, I know of him. Like, he's around type shit. But like, I've never really fucked with him like that. You know what I mean? It's still New York. Like, niggas go do their own thing. But you guys would all just be like, oh, just go hang out with him. Just go hang out with him. Just go hang out with him. And it would be like, everybody, bro. And I would show this nigga screenshots. I'd be like, hey, bro, look, this is like the fourth one today. So I think something, I don't know, bruh. Like, I don't know. Here's my address. Like, let's figure it out, I guess. And he pulled up, and it was the coolest motherfucker I ever met, bro. I was like, oh, okay.
I knew you guys would have like hit it off when I saw that you guys were like officially working together, and I'm like it's like meant to be, you know. So it's pretty tight. I'm like, look, that's tight. Two Justins from LA and connected New York. I'm like, that's something like that's pretty tight.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a crowdsourced thing. It was like a Kickstarter. Y'all motherfuckers made that indie project come to life, bro.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to the internet. Shout out to all the homies who made Skullcat a reality.
But I'm really grateful for it, I'm not gonna lie, because like, me and this dude, we're really fucking similar, but we're really fucking different. Like, he comes from that whole like Chicago, like acid type style. I don't really like, I like it, but I don't really fuck with it like that. Like, that's not my bag. I'm more of like the weird, like dub techno, like outer space type vibes type shit. And when we like do our mixes together and we like play sets together or we make tracks, bro, that merge is a really good merge.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. He said like, you know, he is that Chicago acid, and you're that dub techno, out of space, kind of like spacey, you know, techno.
It's Afrofuturism type shit, you know? Just just, it doesn't sound like we're on Earth, you know? Just real weird, like a lot of pads and echoes and stuff, but like, I swear, when those two sounds come together, bro, like, we've smashed some clubs out here, like, kind of forced some people to dance.
Yeah, there was a live stream, I'm not sure if it was the first live stream that you guys did together, but you guys posted up, I think it was a video he posted up, and there was two tracks playing. It was one of his, like, mood swings, the mood swings track, and another track that you were playing. And it, to be honest, I thought it sounded like a different, like one track by itself. I'm like, what the heck? What track is this? Even a couple of people hit me up because I reposted it. They're like, yo, what track is this? What track is this? And I hit up Roscoe. I'm like, hey, what track is this? So no, I think it was on the
That was when we played with Anthony Parasol. That was a 4-deck mix, and for one of the decks I was scratching, one of the decks was mood swings, and the other deck was one of my tracks. But we were DJing in key, so everything sounded like it was like a marriage together. And that's what I was saying, like, our two sounds, like, we have things we've made together, but the shit that we've made away from each other, when we're, like, blending it while we're DJing, I swear to God, it sounds like collabs, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, my nigga, how'd you fill in my... Like, there was dead-ass times where I'm like, wait, you filled in my drum.
Oh, damn, that's clean. That's super clean. I'm telling you, that little even preview was sick as well too. I'm like, yeah, these guys were like meant to like work together. And then you guys have that track on the Black Lodge compilation. We Shoot Cops.
We Shoot Cops.
All the production.
That one came really quick. We were it was during the Black Lives Matter protests. There was a shoot to kill order in New York City for a week straight. And we really weren't supposed to be like outdoors after like 7, 8 o'clock. It was a lockdown, and they were shooting motherfuckers outside. Motherfuckers was warring. And me and this fool were smoking. We looked at each other, and we were like, bro, technically, we ain't supposed to be here right now. Like,
oh, so you mean like if something were to like...
If we went outside to go smoke a cigarette or something, bro, we could have got clapped in the chest. Like, it was valid. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the shoot to kill order was pretty much saying. So we were like, so we're going to scroll through Instagram right now, and let's just see what the social climate is about this. Everybody's just talking about voting, Bernie, oh my god, Bernie meme, Trump meme, Bernie meme, I hate Trump, but let's post his face for 800 times because we secretly love him. I don't know, dude. Like, we were seeing all that shit, and we were just like, you know what? So what's the political standpoint of the day? Because, like, none of this shit on the gram really, like, fits us or what's going on in our lives. So maybe it's We Shoot Cops today. And we finished that track. It was like, I don't know, it was one of the most aggressive tracks we had made. We were both like going through like financial issues and like girl troubles and job issues and just all sorts of shit. And then the fucking shoot's a kill order. So we were like, you know what? Let's just make the hardest fucking track possible. And then Black Lodge came about. Vikas was like, yo, I really fuck with this one. Let's put it on the comp. And then now we were like, you know what? Okay, that was a good run. Like, maybe we could do some more. We weren't really like bothering about the money, or we don't really care about that. We were just trying to like get some creative shit out. And we were just like, all right, well, if we could do that, dog, like, pull up next week. You know what I mean? Let's see what else we could fucking do. Bro, he pulls up next week. We finished like 7 songs. So we got like a whole EP we're trying to like shop around right now. It's got to get mastered, but yeah, that's been done for a while. I almost like forgot what some of them sound like.
A lot of the like people who are really like busy making music and everything. Like you guys have a lot of shit like under like in the vaults, like ready to release and everything. I think that's the proper way to do it. You guys have stuff, in the vaults, and then little by little, see where it can be released at or on and all that stuff. So yes, kind of properly organizing. Like, right, cool. We have all the ammo ready. Just strategically be able to like put it out and all that stuff.
Yeah, we were doing like a whole quality control thing because like there's some of them that are really just like unruly, but they fit for the dance floor so well still. But I don't know like what label I'd be able to shop these to. They're just like on their own shit. We might do like self-release for some of them and just like promote it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be tight. Yeah.
But hopefully it seems.
Roscoe has that street sound, so I'm not sure maybe.
Oh no, it's over, dude. No, street sound's over.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He changed his name. He dropped Street Sounds. He's just going by SCO now, and like.
Yeah, SCO. Yeah, yeah.
We got like shit coming with like No Agenda Records and Kimyan, but yeah, we're just kind of like free agenting right now, trying to figure out like. I don't know, because all these projects we were doing and all these like labels and all this stuff we were doing, these are all like old ideas that like fit us at that time when we were like in our 20s and like, like shit's getting a little older now. It's time to like shift up, switch the ideas a little bit, maybe keep some of the stems, But yeah, I don't know. He's just been like developing, getting older, and he's starting to see what fits him and what doesn't fit him. I fuck with it.
That's true. Yeah, that's breaking news. Street Sounds is over.
Yeah, dude.
Or maybe he kind of under wraps it because it's not supposed to like be that type of big deal. But I see it. I see what's happening and everything as well too, because it's been years of developing something. So it takes a couple years to actually feel like what's actually fitting. And I think he's actually really has found his place. Like musically, he has found his sound. But like working with you, working with Kim Yan, with the features now, I see the family that he has found in New York, and it works perfect. I'm like, and shout out to him, and I'm happy that both of you guys have found something that works, and then we'll go for the long run right now. So this is just the beginning for a lot of stuff that you guys are just doing. So.
Oh yeah, man, that's my motherfucking brother right there, nigga. Like anything he wants to do, really, I let this fool do it. There's times where like he'll really pull up and like come to the studio and just be like, yo, I really don't feel like doing shit right now. I'm kind of on strike. And I was like, all right, well shit, just like give me a hi-hat or something on the 3 and I'll just do the rest. Fuck it. Honestly, there's a couple tracks like on the Scocast shit that are like separate but equal. Like it's like shit he did or shit I did, and we were just like one off like maybe like 2 or 3 stems.
Oh, okay.
Because for a lot of the process it was like, oh, you're at home, I'm at home. We didn't feel like it was necessary to like be in the motherfucking studio all the time. I know a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I gotta go to the studio, yada da da da. But like, I just looked at him like, bro, there's parts of this shit you could knock out. There's parts of this shit I could knock out, bro. Link back up. And sure enough, like, it honestly came out way better that way because we weren't breathing down each other's motherfucking necks.
Yeah. And it also too, it just kind of gives that, how you said, like maybe you're not really in the mood to like maybe work on something, so it just allows you to take that breather and everything. And then how you guys are into more than just music. For example, you'll go outside, play some ball. You'll maybe do some painting or like your art that you do and everything as well too. So it gives you that. It's still being creative in some outlets, and it gives you that just a little breather, so you'll be able to go back when it's time to work on that track or tracks, whatever it is.
Yeah, get your little daily dose of Hood Olympics and then jump back in the studio chair, you know? I've always, like, been okay with that. I can't stand motherfuckers that feel like they gotta, like, do this shit all the motherfucking time. Like, it's not a personality, jeez.
You want to listen to the next for me? I have to play in like 2 hours.
Yeah. And talking about the Black Lodge, you guys have the release on there. How did that connection come about? Of course, they're from LA and you're from LA, but talk about that connection when it first happened.
Going to a lot of after hours in like my early 20s. I would run into Jason James and like Vikas all the fucking time because we were like the only 3 like black motherfuckers in the room. Take that how you want to take it. I don't give a fuck. Once again, but like, yeah, I don't know. We just kind of like give each other the nod type shit. It was really weird. But we ended up like being really akin to each other and liking each other and just being like, oh, we have like similar goals and like interests and Jason and I, we would go to a lot of like random parties. This dude Ed Stellar Remnant at the time, he wasn't a store yet. He was just like a fucking booth, like at parties. And he would have like crates of like dub techno records, and nobody else I really knew at the time was like a dub techno vendor in LA.
Okay.
I don't think I was really like checking for. I don't know. I would like buy a lot of shit online or like I don't know. But
was he going as Stellar Remnant before too?
Yeah. He always had that name when I knew him, and he would just have like really interesting selections and like just rare dub shit that like I was always looking for like dirt ass cheap. And me and Jason would always like politic and like bond over that fucking booth. Like we would hang out there more than like seeing the fucking DJs, dog. And we would just like pick each other's brain, just like, oh yeah, I like doing shit like this, I like doing shit like that. We found out we like producing. And I was like, honestly, bro, like, I fuck with producing more than DJing. Like, you can talk to me about that shit. And at the time, like, he was producing, but he wasn't really like having time for it, you feel me? He would like get booked for gigs. He fucking had like a full-time job type shit too. He didn't really have time. And I was like, yo, dude, like, I was just like drop mad secrets on him in Ableton. Cause he would like fuck with shit like that. I was like, yo, try this, do this. If you want to like save time, do this. And we would just bond like that. Like the same way, I don't know. I talk to a lot of people like that. Like people just spring up on me with like production questions all the time. And I'll usually answer unless I'm like with a girl or something.
Yeah, no, that's why I even kind of like got the idea of starting a podcast. Like one a long time ago with the homie Joe from Sin Passion, Dante Sin. We talked about just having a podcast, just bullshitting, talking about stuff, whatever it is. But then I would catch myself, going to these afters, just talking to people, either smoking a cigarette, smoking a joint, whatever it is. But we're outside, maybe in the smoking patio or whatever it is, and we're having these long ass conversations. The music's playing, and I'm asking them questions about their introduction to the after parties, the Billy Warehouse, just the house and techno and whatnot. So then little by little, I'm just like, man, what the fuck? I should be recording these these episodes, or these conversations, because that's what they are. We're just conversations. One, we're getting to know each other, and two, I'm getting to just because I'm always fucking intrigued, because I always tell people I'm a late bloomer, a little bit into the electronic music.
There's nothing wrong with that. What the fuck is wrong with that? Who cares? Fuck them.
That's the thing, but just
fuck all of them, bro. Fuck them all.
True that. I like just that huge. I think a lot of people like to portray themselves as like, oh man, I've been into this shit forever. Like, oh, I'm cool as fuck. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
You're not that fucking cool, dude. Being cool is fucking whack. Like, let's keep it apart.
True that. Facts. And but that was the main thing. I'm just like, you know what? Just talking to people outside. I'm like, no, I never just record these things. And I remember one time, I think I had asked. Fuck, I forgot his. Oh, Jeremy Santa, but he was LA Structures, and we were just talking. And I'm talking because he's a little older cat than us, and I'm asking him about the scene and all the stuff. And I told him like, hey, have you ever done a podcast? And he looks at me, he's like, no, I haven't. But hey, that's a good idea. We should do this, And then when I started it, he's the third episode. No, he's the fourth episode. And little by little started reaching out to more older cats and everything to kind of sit down, and then also to the younger. Like us, like Annika Wolf, Joe Barcy, Shampuda, Diesel Ladone, Forest Placement, and then I've also reached out to bigger cats like Subversive, Dean Paul, Drum Cell. So now you're in the vault too, Mr. Lostcat.
Yeah, sitting with the stars.
Yeah, no. So that's the thing that I want to, and that's the thing I'm like, when I started, I'm like, I don't want to water, I don't want to water this down. I want to have like people who are really real and true to this, to the genre and everything, and to the culture. So
I like the word culture, but I hate the word culture because at times I think culture failed us.
yeah, that's the thing because I'm just like, should I say community? No, there's not a community, like a scene. What is it? Like I don't fucking know.
Yeah, there's no producer community. Let's keep it a stock. There's no such thing. I came in green with that like idea and like ethos for a long time, and I was very giving and very evangelical, and boy was I fucking wrong.
I know. I first kind of when I got into this, I'm like, oh, everybody's friends. Everybody's here to look out for each other. This is all time. And then look more like the years go by, I'm just people are fuck.
Yeah, let's try that again, or not really.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm like, you know what? There are some people who really are to each other, and they are like trying to be decent human beings, and that's cool, But like in the overall thing, I just realized I'm like, you know what? I just have to kind of watch out who
I got who I got.
faith too.
I got who I got, bro. You're on there, but you count them on your fingers. I'm old school.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, dude. Yeah, no. So shout out to you for being a cool person and just being able to being real more than anything. You're real. You tell people how it is. Like if it's someone's like has to be checked. You check them and everything. And you're really real about yourself. So that's exactly why a lot of people gravitate to you and respect you too. Again, like the older OGs, like literally OGs, people from UR, have respect for you as well too. So that's tight.
Hey man, those motherfuckers be checking me too. Real shit. Real shit.
But that's what I'm telling you. That's what a real friendship or real relationship is supposed to be about. If you really do value somebody's their thought on what they're doing, you're gonna check them. They're like, hey, and that's for the most part like what it's supposed to be. Because you can just let somebody be a fool, or whatever it is, or acting up. You can let them, and that's on them. But if they're checking you, or one is checking another person, I think that's cool.
Yeah, bro. I mean, there's times where Santiago is literally like kept me to the side and be like, yo, bro, I don't like the way you went about that. Hey, I mean, if it's got to be said, then it's got to be fucking said. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not one of those people that like can't take the feedback. Like I know I'm aware of what I do and I do shit too, and I like go about things the way I go about things. But these fools are older than you. Like they know some shit. So they gonna tell you like, yo, you might want to like chill out with that.
I like that now, but I think it's always needed. But your current ventures right now is with or not just with, but talk about the future. Well, it's not but future is now experience. So with Kim Yon, Roscoe, and you guys would be like the 3 official members, or there's another official member too.
Yeah, we're the official ones. We're the resident DJs too. Vikas is the one that linked me up with Kimyon. Vikas used to work for Kimyon back in the 90s. They were like throw mad parties together, and they were like early to like the .com boom wave. I recently got with him, just like under his wing. Kimyon was like, "Yo, you should get with this dude," because like, I mean, people know about his like musical prowess and like his abilities and shit, and a lot of those guys like. They know what I bring to the table with like my digital ability and like what I'm able to do with stuff, and like I don't know, it was just like a perfect fit, especially now that we're like moving into this newer era of like just full on digital. I just feel like if I could do that for them, then like I got that, you know what I mean? Cuz like I don't want to see these dudes like left behind by like the digital fucking Joneses. These dudes are getting like older with age and they don't really give a fuck about that shit. Like in full. But in some ways you're forced to. So it's like, oh, let me just like point you in the right direction or like keep you safe in this like weird internet world.
And you're a perfect person for that as well too, like you mentioned right now. Because that is with people were already doing live streams like you mentioned, you said just in TV, and previous stuff like that. But when the whole pandemic started and then the boom of live streams, came about and everything, it's in a sense it really forced a lot of people to like that's the platform if you want to stay as relevant or keep it going and whatnot. Live streams are it. So when you guys do that, it's a live stream. You guys go on Twitch and you guys do it every Sunday at 3 p.m. It's tight because you guys, it's not just it's music. It's you have one of the resident DJs. You guys have a guest, maybe somebody like doing like an art painting because you do that as well too. And then there's that round table, like what happened in the week, what are you guys talking about? So I remember when I saw it, I'm like, look, it's not even just music, but they're bringing everything in. Like you said, culture. In this case, like true culture, authentic culture. So I'm like, damn, this is literally the future. Future is now experienced. I'm like, what they're doing is like legit. It's like the all-in-one podcast in a sense, So that's pretty sick.
Right. And honestly, like Kimmy was telling me with one of his homeboys, Andrew, like back in 1998. They had live streams back then. There was DIFM and like other electronic music sites that used to do like live streams. They were in really, really low bit rates back then. But it was a thing. And a lot of people weren't really like onto it. You know what I mean? But like even when like Justin TV and Ustream was a thing in like 2007, like people weren't really onto it. But it's so weird to me now watching it like re-loop because like people used to make fun of me for like putting a fucking webcam taped up to the corner of my room, and now all these motherfuckers are doing the same exact shit.
Yeah. Because people don't maybe, or also too, they use another laptop too as the webcam. Because I remember even asked Roscoe, because Roscoe and I and another homie who I started DJing with, we did live streams as well too, but we used to call it like the radio. It was a radio show in a sense, and one would bring their laptop as a webcam, and then the other one was used to route the whole thing up and everything. So it was tight. We would do little radio shows, but that was live streaming. So when I saw that, I'm like, wait, we've done live streams before. And then Annika and I did a live stream 3 weeks ago, and they were doing live streams before the pandemic had started, So it's pretty cool to see. Well, I said it kind of reloops again with everything going on and everything, but now it's almost in a sense like it kind of gave the initiative to like, hey, like get on board with all this, So everybody started getting all their streaming equipment and using Twitch. Before Twitch was just for like gamers, but now it's DJs.
Yeah, I actually have a personal Twitch myself. I use for like music production tutorials and like gaming stuff. Like I'll play like Tekken or like skateboarding video games or whatever. I'm pretty good at fighting games, you guys. I don't know if people know that. But yeah, like even back then, it's just crazy seeing like I don't know, this shift. I thought we would have moved into something else. So it's weird to see it just like kind of peak out right here.
And it's like it's peaking, but we've been at this. Well, it's not. It hasn't peaked at this level, but it's already like reached a certain like the same tools. It's the same tools now, more popular. So.
Yeah, because if you think about the whole push from like the earlier 2000s to like go get with like a terrestrial network and go do that, like get with like Revision 3 back in the day when like JW Player was a thing, to the whole like the boom of like the mid 2010s to like, oh, buy your own camera, buy your own MacBook, make your own media. And now it's like we've graduated from that. And it's like, oh, syndicate your own network? But you're using the same exact fucking tools and the same exact room you were in. So that means we had the power to do this shit all along, bro. We were always like ahead of the curve then. Especially with our era, like our generation, like we were like the .com babies, Doug.
I watched this. It's the Dr. Green Thumb podcast, which is Be Real's podcast from Cypress Hill, and they're always talking about how they used to have a radio show before, but it's basically the same people that were on it, like I think the guitarist from Deftones and C Minus, which is part of like the Beat Junkies, the DJ.
Yeah,
it's the same people. And they used to they always talk about like we used to have the radio show. This time it was actually on radio, but now it's just digital on YouTube and Twitch and other stuff, whatever. So it's the same. People have been doing, like you mentioned, live streams have been here before. So it's the same thing. People have been doing the same thing now. It's just on a different platform or maybe more high def tools. Like a better web camera or actually a DSLR camera used to capture whatever it is.
But that means 10 years from now, we're not too far from like fucking owning our own servers then and really just syndicating our own shit. Because when the whole digital audio workstation boom was a thing, like when they were selling laptops at mad rates in the mid 2010s once again, they were saying theories like, oh, everyone will have their own sound and their own style of music and music won't really matter that much because everyone will be able to access it and do it. And now we have fucking Scalar. So like, It's kind of the same thing. Like pretty soon we'll have servers, and like we won't really watch TV. We'll like watch each other.
Oh god. Wait, so like I mean like a server so that we'll be watching each other like at home?
Yeah, it'll be like your own syndication running out of your own feed. I mean, think about it. 10 years from now, dog, we'll have terabyte internet. What do you need to flow over terabyte internet? Syndicated TV from your own server? It only makes sense, bro.
What do you think was gonna happen? What's gonna happen with cable TV? You think that's always gonna be alive?
It's on its way out, dog. We've been over terrestrial radio for how long? But I don't know sometimes, because if you think about the Netflix, their market and the way they were like selling things, they tried to do it with like limiting people. Remember that? When they would like limit how much you could see for a while? To like stop the binge watching?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like regular TV does that too. You know, you see it once a week. So we kind of went back to that in a sense.
It's kind of like it'll. Oh damn! That's oh damn! That made me think about that. That's true. I didn't even so you can stop binge watching shows and shit.
Because they ran out of content, bro. Like you saw it all. There was, you know.
Yeah.
They had to keep it
And
consistent
we
somehow.
switch around. Like I remember one time I was watching Scarface, like, and I just watched it in pieces, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I'm about to finish Scarface, and I'm like trying to find it, and was it on there? I'm like, damn, literally I was catching like yesterday was the last day Scarface was on Netflix. I'm like, so when I try to go back on it, it wasn't there. But then they'll bring it back up, you know, so they'll take it for a couple months or whatever, and then they'll bring that content back too.
That's more or less a licensing and like a publishing deal, but
Oh.
Ah, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's more or less like a licensing and publishing deal, but like, sometimes it's just like, shit is just not there anymore, you know what I mean? But they had to limit it like that because people were intaking so much content that it was like, oh shit, we can't crank out enough in time, bro. Or like certain studios would end or the budgets wouldn't, you know what I mean? And people would be disappointed, like, oh, my show.
We need more shows, man, come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, media is like a form of crack.
Oh, yeah, no, we consume it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the thing. That's exactly why I try to limit myself, like on my social media thing, because I'm like, the people who I follow, because I'm like, dude, like sometimes they'll be just posting like shit that's like, I don't know. It's just like it's not. I don't think it's good for my mental health. I'm like, you know what? I need to stop. I need to control what it's on my feed. You know, so meaning like who I follow too, because it's just too much. Sometimes I'm like, even though if I know it or don't know it, I'm subconsciously still consuming that, and I just don't want to do none of that shit anymore.
This might sound like a really fucking like high thought and shit, but like I sometimes wonder because the more and more we get into the medium of like screens, the more and more I start to get freaked out because I have this talk with like some of my artist friends sometimes. Like they don't really make music or anything, they're just like artists. But I'll talk about like, okay, so we have all these screens around now. How do you sell screen as a medium in a gallery? Because like once you break the screen or the TV dies, like the art is no longer there. But also you got to think about the kids that are growing up in this like time period, like the PS5 generation of kids right now. You got to think about them in a sense, like everything they see is through a screen. So when they get older, they're going to have like dating apps. They're going to have like pictures of stuff. They're going to see things through a screen. So how are they going to perceive beauty in real life? Because everything they see on the screen is flat. It's going to freak them the fuck out when they see it in real life. Because it has dimension to it.
You're like, yeah, exactly. So you're going to be like, so I'm just used to seeing this 2D dimension type thing. Or depending maybe if the screen's, I don't know, man. I don't know, the hologram type shit. You'll be able to see like bullies. I don't know.
You won't be able to perceive true beauty, bro. You will not. So I think about little shit like that sometimes, like with this newer era. But how will we like engage them? Like, because I think with our era, like the live stream thing and the syndicated thing, once that like goes away, what are they really gonna be doing? Once esports is no longer cool. Once Twitch is like dusted, like what's next? Like what's actually the fucking future? Like once trap music's over, like where are we going? Like
hyperpop.
Ooh, that's that $1 million question, because that's that part that really like, you know, what is next? You know,
we're like right there though. We've had trap music longer than we haven't. we've had flat screen TVs for like shit over 15 years almost. Like, dog, where are we going? What's next?
We're gonna, instead of like you and I, like over here with the video, we're gonna be able to pop each other up like a little hologram just right next to you, and you see.
Oh, true scale.
Oh,
That would
damn.
be crazy.
Like, look, and I can move to you, like, say I'm on your couch and I sit next to you, like, yo, what's good, you know? That would be the only, like, maybe on some weird thing, like me being there, I guess, but just hologram. Guess I don't know.
Ah, man. Yeah, I do wonder, like, how will we engage with, like, this next generation of, like, audience? Because the shit that we're doing right now, sure, we might think it's, like, next level, but they're gonna be on some, like, whole other shit. Dude, they're learning how to code in 3D in elementary school now.
I've seen that, yeah, I've seen it. Also, too, just in general, like, I know, like, with the pandemic, a lot of people got into coding because they're like, you know what is that, you know, like, what's something useful? You know, let me learn something useful that instead of just, like, I don't know, I guess, because, I don't know, but I do see the people getting more, like, I guess, learning more trades, which is cool. I like that as well, too, so, pretty pumped. What's next? Oh, when we see what's next, even though I don't know what's next.
Like, what happens when techno music is no longer futuristic? I know we're kind of getting, like, off skew with this interview now, but I don't know. I've always wanted to, like, ask these questions, like, pressing. Maybe I'm, like, interviewing you now. I don't know.
No, this what... I think that you're making me think, like, damn, I don't even know what's looking now, because, you know, like, people, I don't know, I've always, like...
Fuck the rails, dude. We tried to do the structured thing. It doesn't work. Just talk to me.
No, exactly. No, that's the thing as well, too. Like, you know, from the beginning, we've always kind of, like, go back and forth and everything. No, but no, this is perfect. This is with every conversation or every episode that I have, we always go off, like, on tangent, maybe not talk music, whatever, but we're still getting to know, you know, the listeners are getting to know who you know, what you encompass, what your mind encompasses. So, so this, keep it going.
I'll put top 5.
Well, yeah, I think about a lot of, like, advancements that we have now and, like, AR versus, like, VR and, you know, I'm into a lot more than just techno music, you guys. Like, I love hacking. I love, like, database scraping. Like, I'm into things of that nature. So sometimes I get into, like, weird tangents like this because I really wonder, like, what will the future actually be? Especially now that, like, we froze the entire world for a year and everything's considered boomer shit now. I don't know if people realize that. Like, we spent a whole year in a gap. Everything is now dated.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you said, we froze the world for a year. Like, literally, yeah. Cool. Except some Californians still fucking trying to throw. Well, I guess this
Jesus
happened,
Christ.
like throwing some plague rapes. I guess they call them plague rapes, whatever. But I don't know.
Well, they weren't really too futuristic now, were they? Yeah, let's not go there. But
No,
yeah,
but
it's good to think about things like this though, because remember it's 2021 now. Like, these things will soon be rendered old. Like, having a Focusrite fucking interface and a MacBook and like a microphone is kind of like now becoming the old standard.
True. That is true. Because I know, because now that I've been using the podcast, same thing. When I record my intros, literally sound card, microphone, MacBook, literally, and I just record on Ableton. But it's pretty standard. It's like it's, and I feel like I'm like, okay, what's next? What can I do to develop something? Because I always consider myself like a mobile podcast, because I would go to the interviewee, and just set up and just record onto Ableton, whatever. So it just becomes pretty like, okay, what is next? Okay, what can I do to develop this thing as well too?
Could you imagine 2025 when like quantum computing is the normal, even in phones? Because, you know, phones run the same video cards that our computers run for gaming now to play like PUBG. It's the same thing. It's just on lower settings. What happens when we have like beyond normal augmented reality?
That sounds crazy. That sounds tight.
You know, augmented reality is already like a whole thing in Japan right now. Like, they don't do theme parks anymore with like amusement rides. They do AR. Like, the main attraction right now, if you go to Shibuya, is a Metal Gear Solid AR amusement that like immerses you in like the whole. Yeah, I'm wondering, like, dude, where are we going?
You can be like a character in there, like, you know, kind of like playing everything.
Yeah, like you're like in the whole thing. So I'm wondering, like, especially for us being like a techno generation. Like, what's on the table? Like, dude, we could go anywhere. We could go fucking anywhere. We have computers. I'm on a green screen right now.
I know when you first brought up the screen screen, I'm like, God damn, like this guy would pull up the green screen. I'm like, he has everything, like literally, like it's all like tech stuff. So
Oh, man, I'm improvising. Like, this is just like a regular Logitech like HD camera. I have two of these set up as like feeds, so like I can like tap between the two. Like one is pointed at my gear, one's pointed at me. So like when I'm doing my streams, it's not as just like linear. Like it's not just like my forehead all in the camera, and it's a little more for people to look at. So like say if that were to get like syndicated, which it probably won't, but like if it were, it would just have a little more like sheen to it. It wouldn't look just like a regular like stream. And I think that's what like sets us apart as like features now from like other streams is like having the multiple camera feeds and like having it look professional and stuff. I think if more people like implemented that into like their streams, I know OBS only lets you do like two feeds at a time, but like it's just it makes a whole world of difference. Like you can play with streams kind of like a canvas as well, like Photoshop or like a fucking DAW.
you guys don't use OBS for the features now?
No. When we first started, I did like a few test runs with it, but we had too many cameras. Like I was saying, OBS only allows two, and we have like 4 cameras that we like slide between. So we had to use a different format, something a little bit higher, because like we're tethering everything. But yeah, like when I'm doing like my regular stuff, just like my personal streams, it just feels a lot warmer when I have more than one camera.
And you stream on Twitch?
Yeah. I stream simultaneously like Twitch and YouTube because YouTube's a little more stable. Twitch, get your shit together. But like, yeah, it just, like I'm saying, it works a little warmer for anybody out there that's like wondering how to get their stream shit up. If you just have 2 cameras, it feels better.
Kind of like, because we were talking about gaming and everything, I know you've done, and this is still get to get, part of the interview now. Saw an interview, but you have something to do with Skater XL.
Ha! Damn. Yeah, I did the sound design for the game. Yeah. This is actually like about a year ago that I did this project. I want to get into more game design stuff, per se. I would love to do sound design for games, but I want to get more immersed into like the coding and like 3D side of stuff, because like a lot of these things now, they either use Unity or Unreal Engine. Skater XL was made in Unity. There's another game called Session out right now that was made in Unreal Engine, and these things, just like the computer with like the OBS and stuff, you know what I mean? They're a canvas. It's just like they're all just grids and numbers, you know what I mean? Like they start empty and you build your way up. I want to like get more into that world, and possibly me and my homie Trey, because he's like a really good Blender artist as well. Like he does more than music. We want to make like a fighting game. Because
you'll post about some 3D stuff, huh? Like on his Instagram, right?
Yeah. I've been in his ear for a while now about like making a fighting game with him, because like we love Tekken and like other fighting games. I know how to like, oh god, this is gonna sound crazy. I know the language of the PlayStation 2 very well. And there's a lot of like indie developers out there that still like write games for older systems, like they write newer games. So I'm thinking like if we were to crunch it down to like PS2 level, because one, it would just make more sense. Like when it comes to like baking the renders, it would be smaller. It would be less to work with, which would like allow us to be a little more minimal. But we could play around in that world and like come up with something really cool because it's like older. So there's way more information out there. Whereas like we were to do something for a newer system, it would take like mad money and research and development. I feel like we could come out with something like maybe like within a year.
Well, that'd be tight. That'd be super clean. I was gonna ask you like, that was gonna be the question. I'm like, do you think you can create a game? But yeah, you just answered the thing.
I think I have enough knowledge, and I think he has enough patience with 3D, whereas like I have the patience with like the reverse engineering. So I think it would be another good fit. It would be like ScoCat, but like video game form. Trey Cat. I don't know. But Yeah, I
And
think
you
that
can
would be
still make
dope.
the music for that too, though.
Oh hell yeah! And that's another thing. Like Rick Wade and Mike Huckabee back in the day. He doesn't really talk about this because a lot of DJs don't really care about like gaming and computer shit. But him and Huck used to make first-person shooters out of like Doom mods and like Serious Sam back in the day, and they would make the music for it and like change the skins and like do all that stuff. So it's just kind of on the same thing, you know?
But then what I've noticed though, like even some of the dopest, like even like producers or even DJs, they're like gamers, you know, or they're into gaming or they're into computers and everything as well too. So I know we said like a lot of DJs don't care. I feel some of the the best again producers and artists in general they're all into that, you know, or they come from a background from that as well too. So
It's usually from spending time inside. You want to like step away from the mixing board for a second and do something else, but you don't want to necessarily fucking go outside. So you just like turn on some Neo Geo shit, you know? Like, oh, let's play King of Fighters for like an hour. There's actually like, have you ever seen that picture of Omar S where like he's in the studio with like the picture of the he has like a Metal Slug poster and like a Mai Shiranui poster in the background from like King of Fighters?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, like a lot of these guys are, I don't know, they're just cool nerdy dudes. I don't know.
Doesn't Homoris have a game out, like a video game or something?
I don't know.
It's like I don't know. I think it's called like Record Pusher or something like that. I'm not too sure. Something like that. I'm not sure.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! He does?
I'm pretty sure it's like a little or it's just like an artwork and it looks like a kind of a video game. But,
Yeah, because I remember one of his older covers, he had like a picture of him fucking around with like an arcade machine PC board. And I think when I saw that, I was like in my like older teenage years and I realized like, oh, these guys are just like tinkerers too. Like they're just makers and tinkerers. Music is just something they happen to do like while they're doing that. They tinker with that too.
No, so it is. It's called Record Packer. So Omar S has released a video game called Record Packer. So you can pack records in a warehouse. Hey, wait, okay, you can able at this point. I'm gonna sound like a fucking noob and everything, but how do you pronounce his record label?
FXHE? That's a good question. I don't know either.
Okay, I always be like FXE. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, so it says NYS has linked up with Red Bull Arts to release a video game called Record Packer. And you just pack records at his FXHE warehouse. FXHE.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I was saying he has like a.
I don't think.
Oh yeah, I see it. That's cool, man. It's all like 16-bit type, like an old Amiga.
Yeah.
Or a Commodore. Yeah, I want to work with something like with like a smaller structure like that, where like the language is all known and you can just like crunch shit down because I feel like you could get shit done quicker. Whereas like if I were to make like a PC or a PS4 game, it would just take ages of like research and you know what I mean? These like indie studios nowadays, they're doing these bigger new things and they realize like you run out of money pretty quick. So me just like using something older like that, I think it would take out a lot of the risk.
And what's keeping you inspired right now, like in the studio or just musically inspired?
Oh man, just like hearing a lot of older music that like I didn't know about or didn't catch. I love when like homies send me shit, especially like art stuff too, cause like I'm not gonna lie, for some reason I feel like I get inspired by a lot of like 2D like painting art and like graffiti stuff. I don't know.
Because
I like
you're painting as well too, like like
yeah.
art stuff and everything.
Yeah, I love that stuff, and I love like hanging out with my friends that like aren't necessarily musicians, because like musicians get fucking triggered and they're annoying to hang out with. So I'd much rather like kick it with like artists or like graffiti writers.
Because I'm looking at your the artwork for because you recently released chapter 2 of Presence of Mind, and the artwork is you painted that or you drew it out, correct?
Yeah, those are some sketches of mine. I've just been like going pretty crazy lately, trying my hand back at like drawing again because it's been so long, man. Like I feel like I stepped away from all my favorite hobbies for so long. Like I would always stay around people that did it to like keep me up and like keep me inspired. But I had just worked on music for years. I stepped away from skateboarding, stepped away from art, stepped away from photography, and I just kind of like miss doing all that stuff. I feel like I've accumulated such a body of work with like music now. Like I can just kind of like chill out and like do other things.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when you play like Final Fantasy or like Metal Gear Solid, when you beat the game, they call it like a new game plus. You like pick one item, like I want like the invincibility or I want like infinite ammo. I feel like I already picked one item. Like it's just like me going again. So maybe I should just like spend more time like doing other things. Like I'm not really here to blow up in this shit, dude. Like this is underground. Let's keep it real. So for me to like,
And also, but it's also like, you're not here to blow up, but you're something that you're gonna keep doing no matter what. Like, whether
Right,
you
right.
blow up or not, or it gets some type of attention, you're gonna keep doing it. So it's,
right, I'm always gonna wake up, scratch my nuts, and open Ableton. But my thing is like, in terms of like the accomplishments and the achievements, I feel like I've already gone ever I've needed to go. Like I fucking hit up Santiago Salazar when I need like fucking advice from like a positive male figure, bro. Like what else do I fucking need? Like not even on a musical tip.
yeah,
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've pretty much done it.
And when
like,
I saw that
for me.
connection, I told you, I think before that, there was one time, and this is probably chapter one of Presence of Mind, that when you released it, or I think it was before that, and I'm pretty sure it was before that, you released something, and he's like, and he posted it up on Twitter, and he's like, anybody looking for some real techno? Something just came out, and I saw, I'm like, oh shit, DJ Lostcat. I'm like, I know who he is.
Yeah, man. But you see, like, all that shit is cool to me, but that's just, like, toppings, in my opinion, because, like, the music shit, it's gonna get recognized, it's gonna come out, like, it's gonna do what it does. But the fact that, like, I'm able to fuck with these people is, like, people. And that means the world to me. Because if I can't fuck with you as a person, I can't even turn your shit on, my nigga.
That's facts. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, like like when somebody's like a decent, like cool human being, like their music just makes you even like kind of better, because the music can be tight, but if they're a piece of shit, like then you're like, why?
I can't even fuck with this shit. You know what I mean? And that's why I said I don't look up to people, because you get pissed on. But I will say with Santiago, man, that motherfucker, ugh, he had quite a career, man.
Yeah, it's tight. Like when I met him I met him in person when me and Annika pulled up to Dub Lab, and he was there, and I'm like, Guillermo, what's up? I'm like, dude, like it was crazy just to like actually see him, and I met his younger brother, and I was just talking to his younger brother, just like talking to him and everything. And his younger brother's like, yeah, he's just my older brother. I really don't see like but that's I told him, like, I understand that, but like from like an outsider perspective, like me who knows he is, I told him, like, your brother's the real deal. Like he's the shit. He's tight.
But that to me means more about the shit you do for people and like people around you versus like the music, though. Because if you think about this, dude, if you really think about all these like older UR cats and a lot of these older Detroit techno cats too, there was no community per se, but they still tried their hardest and like at best to like keep everybody like in order and like chill.
That's true. That's true. Have you ever gone to Detroit?
Nah, dude, I don't really travel too much. I've been broke. Like, I'm not one of those type of DJs that's like, oh, I'm going to Germany today. I wish. I mean, if somebody out there wants to like help me do that, I'm down.
I know, say like, hey, somebody invest in Lostcat.
But like, it's not really about all that to me. It's really just, once again, like, what type of motherfucker you really are and like what you do out here for these people. Because there's a lot of these older cats too that are like really stuck up their ass and they don't do shit. And they don't put nobody on. They don't look at the younger generation. They don't look at the older generation. They just be on their own shit.
And what do you like? What's your perspective, like maybe in the future? Because we're talking about what's next, but like, what do you think? What's next, like in the underground scene? We're gonna go in New York and LA and worldwide. I want to see those two perspectives: New York, Los Angeles, and just in a worldwide perspective.
Good question. New York, less snitching. LA,
Is that
I
what
don't.
you hope, or do you think that is?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm foreseeing. Hopefully, because like with this whole COVID thing, it weeded out a lot of shit. Like a lot of the idiots that were like around are kind of gone now. They moved back to West Bubblefuck wherever. LA, I don't really know. I haven't been there in a long time. Shit. You know what I foresee for LA, goddammit? Me coming back and playing a goddamn show. Somebody please, like, make that happen. Let's manifest that. How about that for LA?
Yes.
Because
I second that. Yes, that'd be tight. That'd be sick.
I'm going to say it like this. I grew up in LA Underground, but New York Underground turned me into a man and, like, taught me how to sell and, like, do this shit and maneuver. And I haven't really been back in LA ever since. And I would love to just, like, I don't know, cut a rug.
That'd be sick. Hopefully, like when everything does like open up, like the Black Lodge keeps throwing parties and stuff because their parties are some of the dopest parties like still that were happening. So that'd be sick. Like even like Roscoe coming back to play in LA as well too. That'd be sick. So that'd be down.
Lostcat in LA, bro. What's up? Like somebody please like manifest this into the world. Make this happen. I haven't left New York since I've been in New York.
And what about the worldwide perspective? Just because techno is and house and techno is worldwide. It's not just.
I can't really speak on what goes on worldwide because I haven't seen what happens worldwide. I've never experienced that in terms of techno, so I don't really want to like talk out of place. But I will say, I am a little disappointed with 2020 and how like a lot of these global labels just signed a black artist because they thought it was the thing to fucking do, so they didn't look bad.
Yeah, and then like in recent like 2020 when all the like allyship of and everything and trying to, I guess I don't know how you said like they signed black artists or black and brown artists to make it like seem that they're cool and they've always been about it, but it's like I don't know.
That was the only thing I've kind of like experienced because I've never really traveled like that. So for me to see that like we're not really understood like that anywhere turned me off from it a little bit. But man, you gotta fucking travel. You gotta come on. People fuck with me in other places, I'm trying to like at least like go to the UK or something. Like
and that's what I'm telling you. Like I know like currently like that hasn't happened, but I see like I think that's gonna happen for you. So and sooner or later it's gonna happen. So I think that's the main thing that just what you be doing, keep doing what you're doing, and then like how a lot of us connected you and Roscoe, we're also gonna do our part to like pump you up as well too, and and keep you where that recognition is supposed to be at.
I could take being misunderstood overseas in Europe as long as they sock it to my pocket. He could go home and scream in his pillow at night. I don't know.
I love that, man. That's tight. Do you have any more upcoming projects? I know just recently, like a couple of days ago or several days ago, you just released chapter 2.
Yeah,
is there anything like?
I put out chapter 2. Me and Trey actually have a split that's coming out. It's gonna be like 2 techno tracks, 2 deep tracks. I don't know necessarily like what the album cover or what I'm gonna name it yet. We just want to do some like fun little shit. I took a break from Bandcamp for like a year, and now I'm kind of coming back because like I wanted to make a website and like distribute like my own music and like see everything back from it and like cut records, but shit is just kind of slow right now, bro. Like, so I figure why not just like do the little digital thing for a while, but like keep the really good shit for like the vaults and just like cut that later. But I have a lot of arsenal right now, so I feel like digital is a good place for a lot of this shit to lay because it's a lot of tracks that were like made away from each other, but they make sense like next to each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think one time we were talking about that and you said that like how it's kind of like they make sense together, but they don't make sense together.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the textures and stuff I were using were like same-ish or what have you. So it's like, oh, but these were made in like different time frames or like different moods or whatever. So I would just kind of like listen to everything in order. And then sometimes I would like take things out of a folder and put them in a different folder, just like 3 or 4 tracks and just be like, oh, how do these sound together? Yeah. And then my ears would strike up and I'd be like, yo, that's actually a release. And that's how I've just been kind of like churning it out right now because I'm sitting on like 80, 90 files right now of just fucking craziness. Doug, it's been a while. Like, I don't know if people realize this, like, all those little, like, clips I post up every day of me, like, on Instagram pointing it at the speaker, those are usually, like,
Yeah.
saves. That's usually like, oh, I'm saving this.
And there's so many of those clips that you can post up, and that's exactly. I'm just like, dude, this guy's like always in the lab, like working on his craft, and that's why it's like, that's why you're so good at what you're doing. We've been doing that too. So.
It's more of a mental note for me when I post it up, but it also lets me know how it sounds like through the dimension of like an observer. Like, say if you were like in my studio with me, but not necessarily because like it has like the phone quality or what have you. But it's like an observer type quality. But it keeps a mental note for me too, because like Instagram archives your shit. So people hit me up and be like, yo, this one, or yo, that one, I fuck with that one, or, you know what I mean? And I'll go back in the archive and be like, oh, this one? And they'll be like, yeah, and I'll still have the project file, you know what I mean?
Like, even you do say, like, yeah, it's phone quality, but, like, what I've noticed that, like, when somebody makes something that's fucking tight, even through the phone from a studio, you can tell that it's fucking tight. So that's another, like, I guess, test. There's, like, people do the car test. People do, you can listen to it on, it sounds on, like, in the car. I think also, too, if it sounds good to an Instagram story or on Twitter or whatever, you can tell it's a dope track. So, still.
Well, I also try to keep that in mind as well, because, when you're mixing mastering, you want to keep it for, like, a medium format speaker. Where do people listen to music mostly nowadays? Not their car anymore. Motherfuckers don't really got cars in this economy and social climate. Where do they hear their shit nowadays? On the phone.
On the phone.
It's literally mastered. Like, Isotope Ozone literally has settings for fucking Spotify. It's like phone leveling settings. Like, you just click the shit and it does it to your track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But,
Oh, shit.
a lot of people get by doing that now, and that's just the way it's rocking. Like, so I think it helps for me in a sense too, like doing that, because it's like, oh, this is how it would sound if I was like out in the street or some shit, or at like the burger shop or something, and your track's being played, and you're like, oh shit, haha.
Yeah, makes sense. But just to kind of come to like an end of the little conversation to like people get to know you a little bit. Do you think there's anything like worth mentioning in this conversation that was not maybe mentioned? Or maybe it's something that you want at least people to at least take from. He said,
Well, first off, I want to say thank you and I love you to everybody that has supported me throughout these years and supported my music or had my back. Keep an eye out for me. I got like a bunch of new stuff coming out too, but like also keep an eye out for a lot of the other shit I'm doing too, because it's not just all about music with me. I love technology. I love like looking towards the future. I love like theorizing on like digital things, I guess. I love like creating and making digital things. Like a lot of people don't know this about me. My goal with technology, sure, like music's cool, but like I would love to do something cool. Like maybe when I'm like 50 years old and I have money for research and development, I would love to make like a video game console or something that like helps kids with like different types of autism like play video games.
oh wow, that'd be clean. That's tight.
Yeah, like I don't know. I have a lot of like different other goals that I would like love to see come to life.
Yeah, and I can see that go to you. Like already, the people who follow you and really pay attention to you, we should already know that you're into like technology and not just music. And also too because when you also start like kind of talking about like what's going on in the political climate and social climate, like it's not just about the music. You're just the music is part of you, but there's so much more that encompasses your mind and your talent. So, sure. Now you saying that, I'm just like it doesn't surprise me, but it's so fucking tight that you said that. That's clean. That's tight.
Yeah, I would love to get into that. I don't know how to like break in, but who knows? Maybe when I'm older, I got a little more money, and you know.
Be able to get and dabble into that. That's clean. That's tight, man. I love that. But let people know where we can find you on the web. I know you recently brought back your Bandcamp, and earlier in the interview you say you don't have a SoundCloud. But what's the main hub where people can find you and find your stuff?
You can go to twitch.tv/ the number 9999 end END. That is my personal Twitch. Sometimes I'm gaming, sometimes I'm talking, sometimes I'm bullshitting with friends, smoking, sometimes I'm making music on the stream. I'll show my screen. I'm not like one of those guys that like hide shit. I'm not like particular. If you got a question, I'll fucking answer it. Instagram.com/DJ Lostcat NYC. DJLostcat.bandcamp.com. And if you want to hit me up just like on some personal shit, or maybe you got something you want to send me, or some funny bullshit, whatever, dude. DJLostCatNYC.gmail.com.
So you well, because this is I'm brand new to it too, but probably Discord. Yep, I'm not sure if you want to follow you or.
Yeah, I have Discord. I'm not really too open with my Discord though. It's more for like homies. But Lostcat NYC, okay. And the number is 5491. If you really got something you really want to tell me, or you just got something cool, I don't know, hit me up. Hit me the fuck up, man.
I'm gonna have to take up on that offer and just because look, I love mixing. I think I got that handled, podcasting and whatever. But just music production, I want to really because I have so much unfinished files and everything, and I always get discouraged on myself, overthinking. Maybe it doesn't sound right, but maybe you can kind of give me some tips and maybe mentor me in my music production.
I would love to, and I really feel like I need to tap into the YouTube market a little bit because there's nobody young and black out there doing techno tutorials.
You're right.
None. There's none. Maybe that's something I should really look at.
You should. That would be sick. That would be clean. It makes sense. It makes total sense for that.
Yeah, man. So maybe that's looking towards. Maybe I'll do it with some cool green screen background, something, or I don't know, keep people interested. Yeah. Just put my whole fucking computer desk on the green screen.
Hey, whoa, that'd be tight. That's something pretty tight.
Yeah, why not, dude? I'll think of something. But I think that's something that I should really tap into next, you guys. There's nobody young and black out there doing YouTube techno shit.
I know, that's true. Every time you look up, some type of techno drum pattern or something, whatever, yeah. I don't see no Latino or black doing that. So.
It's just, it doesn't exist yet. You see a lot of the trap guys, they give their sauce and their insight, but I would love to do the same. I think that would be fucking ill, man. I should do that. I should hop on.
That'd be clean. Oh, and also too, before you need to go back and tap into your Techno in the Hood show.
Ah, man. Yeah, I kind of left it behind. I tend to start a lot of projects and just leave them. I don't know. I get a lot of good ideas at the time that are sparking, and then I'll come up with some other shit and just kind of drop it. But you know what? Maybe I'll do it through that. Because the first one was a tutorial.
Okay, yeah. And then the second one was the one the history of the word coon and whatnot, right?
It was the etymology and the origin of cooning. Yes. And it was more of a black history, black nobility stream.
Yeah, just because even at that time, that's when all the the BLM protests and everything was kind of going on. So, and you and your homie were kind of really going into it. And when I see that episode, I was like, oh, dude, he has something. Hope he keeps it going with this. And then just it kind of didn't happen. I'm oh man, but it's tight. Check it out, Techno in the Hood.
Oh man, I'll do some more. That shit takes time. I had to write and brainstorm, and it wasn't really on the fly with that one. That one really took some serious brain muscle. I had to really think that one through. Cause you can't just you can't just pull topics like that and not like pull through. You know, you really have to have something to say. So
Like have your notes and your research and stuff like that. Too.
yeah, yeah. I had a lot of mental notes when I was doing that one, and the social climate once again just fueled it. It is just the perfect time for that one. But maybe I'll do some more like real talk shit on like the personal stream because I don't want to get demonetized.
Oh shit! You keep it going with the. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
Yeah, I like believe in conspiracy theories and shit. A lot of people don't. They don't fuck with that shit.
Well, no, I'm telling you that episode was like you know, we were going in. It was like yes, we're going in, but it was like it all made sense. So that's why I was like, dude, you know, like this is something that I'm like I can hear myself hearing like every time a new episode comes out. So
Yeah, but it's definitely gonna push a lot of people away. Oh well. This is who I really am, you know?
yeah.
I mean, if you really want to like...
It could be a side thing.
I mean, people want to get to know the artist and shit and separate the music from the art. I mean, here it is, I guess.
It should all be one. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I fucking love you guys, man. Like, I'm really glad I like get to come on this platform and like have opportunities like this and dabble with technology in this way. And even show you guys stuff, because
yeah, dude.
You were pretty blown away.
You kind of showed me a little bit of like, yeah, and exactly when you even from like the first time we tried to like even use like Discord and then like the OBS and everything, and just picking everything up, it's nice. So that's why I already knew you would be able to show me some type of insight and everything, and more too. So we'll probably link up other days and then just kind of show me like how to really like, because I'm trying to like, I'm telling you, what is the next step? What I can do? Like maybe I can do more interviews like this, you know? So this would be sick to be able to. And I have to use like a Zoom platform or something, you know, use like typical stuff that's already here available to us.
Yeah, I really wish people would get away from the Zoom format. That's more for like work, and isn't it limited? It's like 45 minutes, and then it like cuts off or something.
Yeah, so it's limited, and then if you wanna, yeah, because I remember like when everything was like the whole like pandemic, I'm like, oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to go to the the interviewee's house or whatever. So I was looking into like, okay, Zoom, Skype, what can you use in Zoom? Yeah, there's like a 45-minute cap like limit, but if you want to get more like time, you have to like purchase like a plan, and it's all like a business plan. You know, it's all for work and whatever and everything. So.
Yeah, look more into Discord and OBS, you guys. It's limitless. Like the things you can do are literally endless. Like this stream actually could have been a lot cooler if I had time to like set up more. But hey, I mean, you can literally do whatever the hell you wish with this format. Like, you know, we're here now. Like, get away from the limits and the speed bumps, you guys.
Yeah, true. And how you said earlier, like we've always had the like the power to be able to do this. This is nothing new in a sense. So it's just kind of like actually take control of what resources we have available to us here. So.
And it's all
actually learn. This is like I'm talking to myself. Like actually learn the stuff because I'm like there's so much like part of the settings and whatnot. So like really learn the stuff so you can actually use it to its full potential.
And it's all open source, which is something I heavily believe in as well, because that means anybody with enough brain power can walk in and like develop something for it, and maybe that'll become bigger or become an added feature later in time.
True that.
It's all community based. But once again, that word.
Man, dude, but thank you so much for just talking to me, letting me, pick your brain a little bit, and whatnot. But I appreciate everything, all the insight you gave me, and also too, this is just the beginning. We'll do like another check-in. How you mentioned before, we'll space it out. We'll do a second episode and just check in on what's going on. Maybe this time you and Trey already developing that video game.
Oh man, I can't wait for that. Yeah. I mean, anytime you want to have me, man, like, come around. And anytime you want to just, like, I don't know, hit me up, man. Just fucking hit me up. I'm around.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna hit you up, like, just off, like, the podcast, I think, just to, like, again, like, I need some, like, pointers and everything to see, like, if I can just start releasing some tracks, even if we're a track, at least, so something in that realm.
Beyond Normal Records?
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, when I first started Beyond Normal, it was supposed to be like a label, and we had one compilation, and it was like Roscoe, myself, and how I mentioned like a Roscoe and the homie Joe were part of the Grooves. I told you this a couple of days ago, but I think they had a track. Their project had a track on there. Eduardo Alvarado had a track, you know. But once when I was kind of like rebranding like Beyond Normal, like we're actually trying to have like a more structure to it. I just deleted the compilation. I'm like, you know what? I don't even know what I'm doing right now with Beyond Normal. Let me just kind of figure some shit out, whatever. So technically, it was a label in the beginning. So Beyond Normal Records, Beyond Normal Recordings, and then that never really kind of took off or nothing, or really, I never did anything with that. And the podcast came about. So now Beyond Normal Days is like the main thing about it, you know, because when people talk about Beyond Normal now, they're like, oh yeah, it's that podcast, huh? I'm like, yeah, it is, yeah. But yeah, Beyond Normal Recordings / Beyond Normal Days, the podcast. We'll see what's up.
Nicely done, man. Nice. Well, shit. Anything you need along the way, fucking give me a ring. Anything, bro.
Yes, we'll do it, man. Yeah, no, thank you, man.
Besides money, I'm a little fucking broke right now. That's.
Be like, hey, can I borrow $20? I need for that.
Shit. I'll mail you some za, homeboy. Off the record.
Don't think that.
We might have to cut that part out.
It's kind of, I don't know, but yeah, I got you, man, too. But no, more than anything, thank you again, everybody. This is the Beyond Normal Days DJ Lostcat episode. Hope y'all liked it.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.